the scapegoat, a term heavy with history, laden with injustice. The word itself evokes images of ancient rituals, of blame being cast upon the innocent, but the scapegoat is not just a relic of the past. Thus this archetype, this pattern of projecting guilt and shame onto another, persists in our modern world, often in the most insidious of ways. We see it play out in families where one child is singled out, their flaws magnified, their virtues ignored. We see it in workplaces where an individual becomes the target of gossip and blame, their contributions overlooked. And we see it on a larger scale in communities and even entire nations, where groups are demonized and ostracized, their humanity denied. The scapegoat's burden is a heavy one to bear. They are forced to carry the weight of others' mistakes, to absorb the negativity and dysfunction that they did not create. And perhaps the cruelest twist of all is that the scapegoat is rarely believed when they try to speak their truth. Why is this? Why does the scapegoat's voice so often fall on deaf ears? To understand this, we must delve into the psychological and social forces that shape our perceptions and influence our judgments. Human beings are complex creatures driven by a mixture of conscious and unconscious motivations. We like to think of ourselves as rational and objective, but the reality is that our perceptions are often colored by biases and preconceived notions. This is especially true when it comes to information that challenges our existing worldview or threatens the stability of our social groups. Confirmation bias, for example, leads us to seek out and favor information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs, while dismissing or downplaying information that contradicts them. This cognitive bias plays a significant role in why people struggle to believe the scapegoat. If we already believe that someone is troublesome or difficult, we are more likely to interpret their actions in a negative light, even if there are more innocent explanations. Groupthink is another powerful social phenomenon that can contribute to the silencing of the scapegoat. In cohesive groups, there is often pressure to conform to the majority opinion, even if that opinion is based on flawed information or harmful stereotypes. This can create a culture of silence where individuals are afraid to speak out against the group's chosen target for fear of social isolation or retaliation. Authority influence also plays a role. We are more likely to believe information if it comes from someone we perceive as credible or powerful. In families, this authority figure might be a parent. In other settings, it could be a boss, a teacher, or even a charismatic leader. When an authority figure designates someone as the scapegoat, their words can carry significant weight, making it even harder for the targeted individual to challenge the narrative. Finally, cognitive dissonance. The mental discomfort we experience when holding two conflicting beliefs can motivate us to reject information that clashes with our self-image or our understanding of the world. If we see ourselves as fair-minded and just, it can be difficult to accept that someone we know, perhaps even someone we love, is capable of scapegoating another person. This dissonance can lead us to rationalize the abuser's behavior, minimize the scapegoat's pain, or even blame the victim for their own mistreatment. The scapegoat's plight is not a new phenomenon. Throughout history, we see countless examples of individuals and groups being unfairly blamed and ostracized, often with devastating consequences. The Salem witch trials of the 1690s, for example, stand as a chilling testament to the dangers of mass hysteria and the human capacity for cruelty when fueled by fear, superstition, and the need to find a scapegoat for unexplained misfortunes. In the Salem witch trials, marginalized women, often those who were already viewed with suspicion or who challenged societal norms, were accused of witchcraft based on flimsy evidence and coerced confessions. The accusers, often motivated by personal vendettas, jealousy, or a desire to deflect blame from themselves, found a receptive audience in a community gripped by fear and uncertainty. But scapegoating is not confined to the annals of history. We see it play out in our own time. In corporate scandals where lower-level employees are often blamed for the misdeeds of those in positions of power. We see it in schoolyard bullying, where a child who is different or perceived as weak becomes the target of harassment and abuse. And we see it in the political arena, where entire groups are demonized and scapegoated for complex societal problems, their humanity denied in the pursuit of power and control. These real-world examples highlight the pervasive nature of scapegoating and the devastating impact it can have on individuals, families, and entire communities. Scapegoating in families, especially those with narcissistic dynamics, is deeply damaging. In these families, the scapegoat child maintains the narcissist's fragile ego and distorted reality. The narcissist, often a parent, needs to be seen as superior and infallible. Any challenge to this facade is met with swift resistance. The scapegoat child, often sensitive and empathetic, threatens the narcissist's image. This leads to character assassination. The child's flaws are exaggerated, accomplishments minimized, and positive qualities attributed to the narcissist. The narcissist may enlist other family members to reinforce the negative narrative. This dynamic serves several purposes. It protects the narcissist's ego and maintains the status quo. It prevents change or accountability. It creates cognitive dissonance, as acknowledging the scapegoat's truth would confront the narcissist's abuse. The repercussions for the scapegoat child are profound and long-lasting. They may feel inherently flawed and unworthy of love. They may struggle to form healthy relationships. The abuse often takes place behind closed doors. The narcissist presents a charming facade to the outside world, and this makes it harder for the scapegoat to be believed. The narcissist's manipulation can make the scapegoat question their own perceptions. Gaslighting creates a disorienting reality. The normalization of mistreatment silences the scapegoat. They may not realize their experiences are wrong. They may believe they deserve the mistreatment. The lack of support and the family's complicity create disbelief around the scapegoat's experience.